Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another episode by Sal's Legacy Sports Cards. And what I want to do today was just go over some of the pickups I made at Strongsville, the independent show this weekend, and really just give kind of a recap of the show. I've had the chance to go up the last 3 years. The first two were in Strongsville itself, and then this past year they moved it to Independence, Ohio. And I'll be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised. Other than having to walk a little bit further to get into the venue, I thought the aisleways between the tables were a lot more wide, and I really didn't even mind having to share the arena with like a modern show. They had it separated very well, and really too, it didn't seem like it was any more packed than normal. So I mean, there were a lot more people there, but I think because of the bigger space, it didn't feel like we were as crammed in. So honestly, I had a really good time. I went up with my dad, my brother. They came up on Friday with me, and then I stayed into Saturday. But frankly, I just thought it was a great show. And if you've never been to Strongsville, I highly encourage you to go. It's, one of those shows that there's so much vintage, anything you could ever possibly imagine without having all the crowds of the National is there at the Strongsville show. It's graded, it's raw. And then if you also want to dabble into, some modern stuff, there's a little bit of that there. There's football, I mean, basketball, hockey, all the major sports. And it really just is a great experience. So the first day we went there, my brother and I pretty much spent most of the time going through the showcases, trying to make a couple big purchases. And I spent Saturday pretty much just digging through 10 and 25-cent boxes and really came home with some good stuff. So I thought I'd go over that tonight. So first, I want to go over just a couple gifts that my dad bought me. He always gets me some really nice looking vintage cards or just some stuff from guys that he enjoyed watching when he was younger. So he always, like he always does, he did a great job. So he grabbed me this 1962 Leaders card with Warren Spahn. That's a great looking card there. And then this 1962 post of Maury Wills. I know the common theme in the hobby is that his rookie card is the 1963 Fleer, but this card predates that, so I guess in some circles this could be considered a Maury Wills rookie card. So either way, that's really cool. This 1977 Big League Brothers with George and Kent Brett. 1981 Don Russ, Mark Fidrich. And this really cool 1952 Wheaties hand-cut card of Otto Graham. This is really neat. I've never seen one of these cards before. I'm not overly familiar with vintage football other than some of the major rookies, but that's a great card. And since I picked up his rookie card recently, I thought that was really neat. That'll pair well with that. And lastly, he got me this really sharp and centered 1966 Topps Sandy Koufax. I don't have a ton of Koufax base cards, so this is probably the nicest one I've got right now, so I really do appreciate that. And those are all, again, gifts from my dad. I also got a gift from my brother. We got our birthday coming up, and he knows I'm a big Don Mattingly collector, so he got me this wall plaque. I think this came out in 1988 or something like that, but this is really cool. I've got a Mattingly display on a shelf in my card room, so this will look really nice on that, so I appreciate that as well. And again, you can kind of find everything at this show, not just vintage, not just rookies, but all the different sports and the modern as well. I went through and grabbed a couple Aaron Judge cards for my son's collection. It's quietly growing, and he was real excited. My dad bought him a few packs of Desert Storm cards that he really got a kick out of, looking at all the tank pictures and the plane pictures and whatnot. So we'll add those to his collection. Also, hockey, I think I grabbed these for about $1 a piece. That's an 84 and 85 Topps Wayne Gretzky. I think that's a 98, 99 Upper Deck MVP silver script of Wayne Gretzky. So I got all those for about $1 a piece as well. And a couple little oddball cards as well, or not really oddball, but I was able to find this in a $5 box. That's the Billy Ripken Black Scribble. I don't see this one too often. I did a quick search on eBay, and I think these are going for like 20 or 25 bucks. So I thought for $5 I'd grab that, and it'll pair well with the F-Face Air. I pulled that in a box with my buddy about a year ago, and already had the black box. So I know there's quite a few variations with the white box or the white scribble, and then the sock cut, but those are pretty expensive and hard to find. So I just thought for $5 that'd be a cool little pickup. And then another pickup I found from a guy. This is a game card set from 1962. So that's a Playing Days Maris card from 1962. And I'm not overly familiar with this set, but I thought, man, that's a really nice looking card. And it was only $5. I mean, so get a Playing Days Maris card and this kind of shape for $5. I thought that was a great steal there. So I mentioned the second day of the show, I mainly spent time going through dollar boxes or quarter boxes, and they had really some great 10 and 25-cent boxes. So I usually use those as an opportunity to grab alternative rookie cards of guys like minor stars or maybe lower tier Hall of Famers from the 80s and 90s, and I definitely was not disappointed. I grabbed some really great stuff. So that's a 1989 Sportflix Randy Johnson rookie. That's a 1990 Sportflix Sammy Sosa rookie. That is, I think it's a Rack Pack exclusive 87 Topps rookie of Barry Bonds. And then also his Leaf variation. I've got the Donruss, but not the Leaf, so that was great to pick that one up. Will Clark, that's his Leaf variation. And then his Topps Tiffany. This one was a little more expensive. I think it was about $5. The guy gave it to me for about $3. But still, I love Will Clark. As a kid, I think I mentioned in one of my previous videos that he was one of the first guys that I saw in person to hit a home run. So other than Mattingly, I really did collect a lot of his cards growing up. And then also his 86 or 87 Topps, I guess, again, those exclusive Rack Packs. I did find this. It's a little off-center, but that's the 1975 SSPC. That's a Robin Yount alternative rookie card. 91 Classic Jeff Bagwell rookie card. Toys R Us, that's an 87 Barry Larkin rookie. Then this Topps Mini, or Micro, I guess they were called, 1991 at Chipper Jones. And then this 1991 Classic Best. So technically a minor league uniform, but that's a rookie year card of Pudge Rodriguez. And there's more. You got 1990 Leaf, John Olerud. Man, I love that set. Those are some sharp-looking cards. 89 Score Traded Omar Vizquel. Then they had a ton of Nomo rookies that I didn't have, and I honestly am always blown away at how many rookie cards he had. But that's 95 Stadium Club, 95 Flair. Those are cool. We didn't really open a ton of packs of those when we were kids. That was pretty a premium product. That is a Leaf Limited, 1995. And then Aramis Ramirez, 97. We saw him come up in Pittsburgh, and I remember just the fans booing the crap out of him his first year. I think he was batting like 074 or something like that, but became a very serviceable player. They traded him to Chicago and had really good years with the Cubs, so I figured I'd grab that. And then speaking of the Pirates, that's a 93 Select Jason Kendall. That's a 96, maybe 97. What year is that? 96 or 97, Bowman Best rookie of Raul Banez. That's an 88 Toys R Us rookie of David Cone. And then a 2003 Bowman rookie of Cliff Lee. That's the gold script. So all those rookie cards were about, anywhere from 25 cents to about $2. So really, you can't beat that. So scratch a lot of cards off my list for not very much money at all. But more importantly, in those boxes, I was able to come across quite a few Don Mattingly cards from the 80s that I don't have yet. So I filled a lot of gaps, even found some stuff that I wasn't aware were even cards of his. So we'll go over those real quick too. There's some 85 stickers from Topps, the quad sticker and then his individual sticker. That's an 87, I believe that's a Panini sticker, or 88, I'm sorry, 88 Panini sticker. That is Topps All-Stars from Ames. I believe that's an 87 card as well. An 89 Rat Pack exclusive. That is an 87 Baseball's Hottest Stars. Of course, the 86 Fleer base. This one is, I don't come across it, oddly enough, as mass-produced as it was. I don't come across it too often. Definitely not centered up like this, and it goes for $4 or $5, oddly enough, again, on eBay. So I was happy to grab that for about $1. That's the 87 Kmart Anniversary Mattingly, and of course the 87 Purina Dog Food Mattingly as well. But the big Mattingly pickup was this guy. If you watch my Mattingly video, I was saying that this was his one pre-rookie card that I needed to grab. I never see him raw. Usually they're graded, but this guy, the guy had a 125 sticker on it in his case, and I was able to talk him down to $80. Mostly because there's some staining on the back, so I don't know if this will actually grade well, and I don't really care about the grade, but it'll look, it'll present very well. It's a little off-center left to right, but honestly, for $80 compared to, most of the graded ones go for over $200, I thought this was a great buy. So very happy to add that to the collection. I will be sending that one in to SGC at some point, along with the other pre-rookies I have that are ungraded. So very happy to add those to my collection. So really some great purchases. Filled a lot of gaps for very little money, but I also did make a couple big purchases as well. The first day of the show, I was kind of striking out with some of the higher end cards I was looking for. I really was trying to pick up 33 Gaudi Lou Gehrig. That is the top of my list right now, but everyone I saw was either highly damaged if it was in my price range, or the really nice ones I just cannot afford at this point. So I will continue to be on the lookout for that card. And also potentially looking to pick up a Hank Aaron rookie. And again, you know, the ones that were in my price range were just a little too off center for the price, and then the other ones were just too high a grade. So I'll find that eventually, just waiting for the right one for the right price. But so I had to kind of pivot and go to some B-list types of cards. So the first purchase I made was this 96 Skybox EX2000 Michael Jordan. I love this set. I never bought any of these as a kid. They were too expensive in packs. But ever since I got back into collecting, I really have just fallen in love with this set, in the basketball anyway, and it'll pair well with the Kobe Bryant rookie I had from the same set. So I think they had about a 160 sticker on that, which actually is about where the comps are for a 6, and I was able to get them down to about 140. So very happy with that purchase. And I don't know, it's a really good looking Michael Jordan card, so I couldn't be happier with adding that. And from the same seller, I happened to notice in his showcase that he had this Mariano Rivera auto card, and as far as I know, this is the first issued Mariano Rivera auto card in packs after he came up. So 96 was technically his second year, even though his rookie cards, or his only rookie card, is 1992. This is his second year of real playing time. And you know, this card on eBay, it can sometimes go for $300 for grades much less than this, but you know, this card is really well centered. The autograph is fantastic. He has really good penmanship. And, you know, I got it for a very, very good price, far under comp, so I'm very, very happy with this. You know, next to Don Mattingly, as I was watching the Yankees dynasty through the 90s, you know, Rivera was my guy. I'm kind of a defensive-minded person. I always was as an athlete growing up. So having him anchor our bullpen, I just really, really took to Rivera. He's a great guy as well. Sounds like a good family man, a good Christian guy. So, you know, I was really very happy to pick this card up, and couldn't be happier with the grade and the presentation, the SGC case. So really, really happy to get that, and I appreciate those sellers. They really worked well with me to get a good deal for those two cards. On the second day of the show, I was kind of thumbing through a bunch of graded cards in just a value box, and I kind of came across this. I've been wanting to pick up this Roger Maris for a long time. Not generally a huge fan of the 62 set, the wood grain borders, but obviously this card is significant because it's his first card after he broke the Babe Ruth home run record. And I like being able to look back on the stats and see that 61 home runs there, and also he was #1 card in the set as well. So this card is not always easy to find in good condition. So it's a little off center top to bottom, and the corners are soft, but otherwise this is a really really nice looking card. So got it really for a steal. So very happy to pick that one up. And then one of the last tables I went to right before I left, I was just kind of scanning their case, and saw really two well-centered cards that I just could not leave without getting. The first one was his 1958 Topps Warren Spahn. Other than his 53 Bowman color, this is my favorite card of Warren Spahn. I just love the pose. I love the old Braves logo there on his sleeve and at the bottom here, and the Milwaukee hat and everything like that. And I know there's a couple little dots there in the green, but this card presents so well, and the price, I couldn't pass it up. So very, very happy to get this card. I love the 58 set. I can't say enough about that. And while I was purchasing that, I happened to notice another card that was really well centered that's on my B list as well, and it is this 64, sorry, Topps Pete Rose. His rookie card is just, you know, astronomically high, and I'm not really a huge fan of how the floating heads look. So I've always appreciated the 64 set. It's a clean look. I love the Rookie Cup trophy that's on this card. So this was my top Pete Rose target that I've been looking for a couple years now. This one, it presents for well. I know there's a little fisheye there in the S, but that doesn't really bother me at all. You know, just from a distance, these cards just look fantastic. They're very well centered, very clean. And again, I know that's not what I really went to the show to pick up, but sometimes when you can't afford, you know, what your top targets are, you have to pivot and just take, you know, as they say, what the defense gives you. And these were really two good looking cards, so I couldn't be happier to come home with these guys. So, you know, I'll be looking to pick up those other larger cards I talked about maybe next year. But for now, you know, I'm very, very happy with these pickups. And again, I encourage you, if you have never gone to the Strongsville show, I would make the effort to do so, especially if you love vintage cards. They have everything you could possibly look for or ever want to find, including, you know, baseball, basketball, football, oddball stuff, pre-war stuff, you know, some modern mixed in, especially now that they've kind of combined with this modern show. It's a little bit of everything for everybody, and we just had a great time. So appreciate you guys joining. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And again, have a good night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.